I'm Ashley.
Alicia.
Alicia, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm an MSW student here, and I'm going to start our interview. I just wanted to let you know that everything you say stays between me and you, unless there are any issues concerning abuse of children or any disclosures of information
Okay.
as far as harm to yourself or to others.
Okay.
Other than that, this is a safe place. So what brings you today?
I was just feeling lots of different pressures. I just started a master's program in August, and so that's been a really big shift for my whole family, really. I've been mostly a stay-at-home mom for the last 9 years. Done some teaching, some freelance work, but mostly at home, so it's a really big shift for my kids who are used to having me around, and I kind of hold all the pieces together, the sports equipment and the homework and the snacks and the how many vegetables they've eaten and all that kind of stuff. So, and then my husband's used to, we don't call it this, but he's kind of been my helper. He's happy to do stuff, but not sort of take the lead. So it's just been a really big shift for all of us. So now I feel like I'm balancing school and trying to keep a marriage going and be a mother, and I'm also doing a research project for a job, and so it's just feels like a lot. And on top of that, my son is just really unhappy at school, so I'm just trying to figure out where to give my attention. I guess it feels like a lot of different pressures.
So it sounds like you have new roles forming in your family, and then you within yourself are trying to find that balance of your own thing, going to school, being a mom, being a wife, working,
Yeah.
that you have the research project.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that all of these changes going on are what's affecting your son?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've thought about that. I don't think so. For one thing, he has seemed the least bothered about my being gone. He loves his dad, husband, and so and he's the oldest, so he hasn't seemed to be affected. And what makes me realize it most is last year he was really unhappy at school, and it's very school related. He spends a huge amount of his day there, from 9 to 4 basically, and so so just trying to figure out what to do. And he is very high energy and likes to do his own things. I know that's hard for his teachers, so I'm sure it's some combination of him and the teachers.
So when you say happy, that's what it is.
He doesn't get enough physical exercise, so he's just literally just hanging off the walls when he gets home. And so then he has like a couple hours of homework. He finds it hard to sit down and focus. And then when we're doing that, it comes out that he's had a bad day and he's unhappy. He basically says every single day, I hate school. I don't want to go there anymore. Why can't you homeschool me? And we've been in to talk to his teacher, and it's just hard to know what to do to help him. I don't know if it's him or the school or the teacher or just the combination, or just can't figure out sort of which piece it is and what we can do. That I just feel kind of powerless about it.
So you have your husband who has said that he's helping, and you guys are sharing that. So how are all of these roles tying in for you? How do you feel about it?
I think it just feels like a new phase of things. I feel like I'm figuring out how to communicate. He keeps saying to me, I just want lists. I just need lists, because I literally have to write things down for him. Otherwise it's like I didn't say it. And so I think we're just learning stuff like that how to communicate better, because we're having to, rather than do things together at the same, being home at the same time to do things, we're overlapping, and so things are falling through the cracks. And so, yeah, I think we're just working on communicating more and forgiving each other.
So these are, so communication is a skill that you used before. Is it changing, or is this a new thing that you have to work on?
No, we love talking. We've always talked a lot, and I think now we've been married 12 years and just getting bad habits, and I also kind of assume he should know. We've been together 12 years. He should know what I like, or how I want things done. And so that's part of it for me, is figuring out what to let go of. If the kids don't eat something green on the nights they're with him, just to let that go rather than nitpicking him. I think it's easy to nitpick, and I don't want to do that. I want to be grateful because he's completely supportive of me doing this. I don't want to nitpick him for the ways I would do it differently, because it's, I guess, not wrong, although it seems wrong to me, some of what he does. So I think that's more, we've always talked a lot, but it's having to get through logistics and everything. It's different.
So it sounds like you're adjusting to being a little bit more out of the home and giving him that control over his
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And so you're having a little bit of difficulty with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just partly just early days. It's only been a couple months, and the first month we actually had somebody staying with us, which made it a little bit more stressful too. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's not calling me as much to ask where things are. That sort of. I know it sounds silly. I think what I feel like is, at this point in marriage, it feels like the things that are points of irritation seem so petty, but they actually represent something. Like, can't you just learn where the football uniform is? Like, why do we have to go through this every time? And it makes me feel less appreciated or something. I don't know why, but it just makes me feel like I have to keep up with all these stupid details, and I want to be here learning and growing and developing. I don't want to have to keep up with the football uniform. I just want to be able to study human behavior. So I'm trying to not let that get in the way.
So it sounds to me like you all had your roles pretty much set, because you've been married for 12 years, as you said. So you were all into a pattern and a flow, and now things are changing, and you're seeing different things, I'm assuming, as far as your husband is concerned, and as far as maybe looking at what your role has been so far.
Yeah.
And so how are you feeling about this change? Like, I mean, you've mentioned that it's causing a little bit of stress at times.
Yeah, I think what it's done, maybe things that were small irritations before. So before, because I was the one at home, I knew where the football unit was kind of my job, so I just accepted that, and I didn't get irritated about it. But now it's like, no, actually, Tuesday nights is your job. I go to the class. I don't want to think about where the football unit. I mean, and it's silly, but I'll stay with it because it represents something. And then tonight even, I got a text, where's the football uniform? It's football pictures. Well, I haven't watched it because the game isn't until Saturday. Nobody told me that it's football pictures tonight. How was I supposed to know that, So it feels like that. It feels like he's relied so much on me holding all of this information, and now we're sharing it. And I guess I probably am a little uptight about things falling through the cracks. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter if homework doesn't get done one night or something, but I feel like I want to be able to let some of it go now, because now we're moving into a situation where I'm going to be doing a profession too, and so we have to share.
So you mentioned a couple times about the football uniform in that instance, symbolizing something bigger. So
Yeah.
what exactly is that bigger thing for you?
Good question. I guess it would be guess it would be the sharing the responsibility, you know, and yeah, just me not having to be the sole source of all this information. And on the one hand, I love it, and I want, you know, I want my kids to be happy and thriving, and I want to be supportive. On the other hand, I have all these other things I want to do, these other goals and dreams, and so I just feel they're old enough now. It's easier to share that, and we ought to be able to do that. And so I think, I mean, I'm saying I feel bad because he's actually so completely supportive. I mean, he comes home from work at 4, 2 days a week, and has them basically all of Saturday, you know, so I can do this. So it's not like he's not doing it grudgingly. So I hope it's just a transition phase, you know, that it feels yeah, it feels like adding to what already feels like pressure with all the assignments and stuff. I just want to be able to let go, you know, 3 times a week where I don't have to be in charge.
How does he, just focus on him, but how does he view it? Like, because you're saying he's being supportive, I guess, versus you all sharing this responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does he, have you all talked about how this is working together? Like, is that how you all describe it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot. I think we're high on the communication front. And I mean, he really is my best friend, so we talk easily and often about everything. I mean, I guess part of it, when you say it that way, part of it is him doing it his way, and it might not be my way always, and or the way I would do it if I were there. And sometimes it's things like wearing a dirty football uniform to the picture. That's okay, really. I mean, put it on the back row, it's not that big a deal. So some things don't matter, and then some things I feel like do, and it's schoolwork if it's not completed or hasn't been put back in the book bag, or, you know, and so I think, I can't remember what the question was.
I was asking about how you all view these, because you're mentioning that he's being supportive of you by coming home early and having the kids all day Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
those sorts of things. And I was asking, you're seeing as being supportive, but is it more trying to share responsibilities?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're letting go of some of that, then I think
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds
When
like
it's
by
just
you
being there, but actually sharing it.
yeah, because by you saying supportive, it's like you're saying I want to let go,
Mm-hmm.
but then you're saying, well, but he's being supportive of me, so it's almost like you're still kind of holding on to you.
Mm. Like maybe I need to let go more.
Do you think there's room for let go?
I'm sure I do. Yeah. And I feel like I do mostly, except for when I have to get dragged back into things. You know, when I'm here, I'm not sitting thinking about my kids. I'm, you know, engaged with whatever I'm doing. So, yeah, I think it's just, just teething pains. It's interesting being on the flip side. Now when I come home, he looks really tired and worn out, and there's still shoes out, and you know, dishes. You know, it's interesting seeing it from the other side. So I think we just both need to constantly be remembering that we now play, you know, multiple roles.
So you mentioned things that he thinks are more important and things that you think are more important, and how do you feel that like what does that mean to you? How are you all, what's your values, so to speak, and how,
Mm-hmm.
what you think is
I think we have the same values, just that, well, part of it is, this is like a new job for him. You know, he hasn't had to come home, take take kids to activities, figure out when to fit in homework, cook dinner, clean up from dinner, put them all to bed. You know, he hasn't done that a lot on his own. We do it together, but whereas I've done that a lot on my own, because when he travels for business or everything. So I think it's partly just letting him figure out a new job, you know, and so I think we do have the same values. I mean, he cares about their schoolwork and all that. I don't mean to paint that. So I think it's maybe just details for him. You know.
How many children?
3.
Three. Oh, little boys.
A boy who's 9, girl 7, girl 6.
Okay. So is there anything else that you want?
Thank you.
Okay, so,
Okay.
I was gonna try and